We have a problem in Indianapolis, and it's bigger than just basketball. Caitlin Clark is publicly calling out Stephanie White's offense, saying these WNBA players don't even know where to move, and she's straight up missing her college coach, Lisa Bluder.
Caitlin Clark, let it be known, she does not like this Stephanie White offense, how these players in the WNBA don't even know where to move or how to move or where to cut, and that leads to a lot of her turnovers. And she also states how much she misses Lisa Bluder. And I think all of us Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark fans prefer if Lisa Bluder was the head coach of the NBA.
This is not just rookie frustration. This is a generational talent being wasted by a coaching system that's killing her creativity. When your franchise player is openly questioning your offense and wishing for her old coach, that's not growing pains. That's organizational failure. And I'm about to break down exactly why this situation is about to explode. Man, let me tell you what's really going on with Caitlin Clark and this Indiana Fever situation, because what we're witnessing is straight up painful to watch. We got the most talented rookie to ever step foot in the WNBA, and they're wasting her prime years with coaching that's more concerned with playing it safe than letting greatness be great.
I mean, what's going on here? And I'm sorry, but if Stephanie White's supposed to be this all-world coach, you're not going to show up to a game against the Phoenix Mercury with DeWanna Bonner playing on the other side after what she did to the Indiana Fever franchise, and you show up there and somehow the team is lifeless? Sophie Cunningham coming back to Phoenix and the team is lifeless? That is the coach.
So check this out. Caitlin Clark went on a podcast and basically aired out the entire Fever organization. She talking about how Stephanie White's offense got players confused, not knowing where to move or how to cut, and that's leading to her turnovers. But here's the kicker. She straight up said she misses Lisa Bluder, her college coach at Iowa. When your franchise player publicly wishing for her old coach, that's not a good look, bro. Let me break down what's really happening here. At Iowa, Clark had complete freedom. Bluder basically handed her the keys to the Ferrari and said, "Go drive, don't crash." And Clark didn't crash. She took that thing off-road, hit 90 in a 40 zone, and made it look like a highlight reel every single night. That's the difference between coaching greatness and coaching fear. But now she lands in the WNBA with Stephanie White's offense, and it feels less like basketball and more like a HOA meeting about what color your mailbox can be. Rules everywhere, creativity nowhere. That's the problem right there. You got a player who revolutionized college basketball being told to fit into a system that don't even understand what makes her special.
Sums up why I can't stand Stephanie White as a basketball coach for Caitlin Clark. I don't think that Stephanie White is a bad coach. I don't get it twisted. She's not a bad coach at all. I just don't think she's the right coach for Caitlin Clark. So let's take a listen to this right here. This was on the podcast with Super 8.
But I think that's even been something like me and Steph have always talk about when we go and watch film. And even that New York game where I played really, really well. Obviously scored a lot of points. I think I had 9 assists or 10 assists that game.
She was a rebound and assist off a 32-point triple-double. And is the only reason her team's in the game.
When you have a player who sees plays developing 3 seconds before they happen, you don't put them in a tight little box because you scared they might dribble into another dimension. That's coaching scared, not coaching to win. The difference between college and pro is night and day for Clark. At Iowa, they had 5 shooters on the floor all the time with great floor spacing, 4 people who could shoot at the same time, and even their post players rarely missed. Hannah Stuelka was tremendous, and even the backup post players could knock down shots. That's called building a system around your best player's strengths. But in White's system, Clark talking about how different it is, how restrictive it feels. She said Bluder was so intentional about making sure everyone was on the same page during practice. That's coaching, bro. That's understanding your players and putting them in position to succeed instead of forcing them into positions that make no sense.
Man, it's just going to be interesting to see her come back and see this team fully go full circle around their set leader, and I'm still banking on it being Caitlin Clark. without Caitlin Clark. They had 19 in the one game and 16 in their previous game without CC even playing.
Here's what's really wild. Clark dropped rookie records while side-eyeing the very offense she's running. Think about that for a second. She's breaking records while being frustrated with the system. Imagine what she could do if she actually liked the offense she was playing in. We're talking about potentially historic numbers that could change the entire landscape of women's basketball. The Liberty game was the perfect example of this dysfunction. Clark was cooking in the fourth quarter, not warming up, not heating slightly, but straight up cooking like somebody needed to call the fire department. Then she makes 2 turnovers, and boom, she's on the bench like a kid in timeout. That's coaching malpractice right there. Meanwhile, you got other players on the floor turning the ball over like it's a gift basket giveaway, and they still getting their minutes. That's backwards, man. You don't bench your best player for trying to make plays while keeping players in who aren't even trying to be aggressive. That sends the wrong message to everybody on that roster.
My precious Cece, she was upset. She didn't say nothing, no smiling, walked off, not looking at no cameras. I'm talking about, you can tell it's all on her face. She got it in her mind. But look, I need y'all to understand. That was so embarrassing and pathetic, and the teamwork was not there. But I remember Jordan had got hurt his second year. He didn't come back until playoffs, and that playoff series was legendary. He scored 63 points in one game, but he still lost, though.
This is the problem with WNBA coaches like Stephanie White. They so busy playing don't make a mistake basketball that they forget this supposed to be put on a show basketball. You can't win games or fans if your main strategy is try not to embarrass yourself. That isn't offense, that's hostage negotiations with a shot clock. Fans don't pay money to watch safe basketball. Lisa Bluder never coached like that. She didn't freak out if Clark threw a risky pass or pulled up from the parking lot. Bluder understood that high-risk, high-reward plays are the reward. You don't take away a player's freedom just because the last gamble didn't work. You double down because the next one might be the dagger that wins you the game. But in White's system, Clark's vision gets wasted. She sees plays developing before they happen. That's a skill most veterans can only dream about. But instead of unleashing that skill, White keeps her in a box, like she's afraid Clark might break the game if given too much freedom. That's coaching fear instead of coaching confidence. The numbers don't lie either. They were 8-5 with Clark before she got hurt. Without her, they had 19 points in one game and 16 in another. That tells you everything you need to know about who's really carrying this team. When your franchise player is out and your offense looks like a middle school scrimmage, that's a system problem.
The Stephanie White offense compared to what she was doing at Iowa when she took over the world. Let's take a look.
At the college, like it was very similar. Like all I would attack, like we're known to have like 5 shooters on the floor at all time. Like we played with really good floor spacing, and at Iowa it was the same way. Like 4 people were on the floor that could shoot at the same time. Then obviously we usually played with a true post, but they rarely missed too. Like Mon never missed. Like Hannah Stolke was tremendous when I was there too, and even our backup post players. Like I always think about like how Coach Bluder like ran practices and things, and like I'm very fortunate looking back and like now going to like watch other colleges' practices and things like that. Like she really like was so intentional about like making sure everyone was on the same.
What's missing in the WNBA right now is basketball IQ that actually leads the game instead of following it. Some of these college coaches got it in spades. If you dropped Lisa Bluder into the WNBA tomorrow, she'd have a team scoring 110 a night without breaking a sweat. Meanwhile, the current system busy killing creativity in exchange for safe basketball that puts fans to sleep. Players scared to take risks because risks equal bench time. And if you're Caitlin Clark, that means your creativity gets muzzled and your confidence gets chipped away. That's exactly what's happening right now. And it's painful to watch because we know what she's capable of when she's unleashed. The WNBA got this obsession with veteran preference that's killing the game. You thought meritocracy ruled? Nah, bro. The hierarchy is simple. If you've been around longer than the rookie, you can trip over your own shoelaces, miss 3 open layups, and accidentally pass the ball to the mascot, and you still in the game. But let the rookie commit 1 flashy turnover while trying to make a play, boom, bench time. From day 1 at Iowa, Bluder didn't just hand Clark the offense. She gift-wrapped it and said, "It's yours now, make it sparkle." Bluder understood that confidence isn't built by yanking a player for every imperfection. It's built by letting them figure it out in real time, even if that means the occasional ugly possession. That's how you develop superstars.
In over 10 years, and Caitlin Clark has something to do with that, man. They was 8-5 with Caitlin. At the end of the day, no matter how many games they win, they lost more games without Caitlin Clark playing. Like, so everybody argument that Caitlin Clark is the Achilles heel, Caitlin Clark is this and that, your argument is obsolete, bro. They will forever have that notion on there, that blemish on there. Now, if they would have won more games, lost less, then you might have had it.
But White's approach is the complete opposite. She wants Clark to play off the ball, talking about having 2 main ball handlers in her system. That's like having Michael Jordan and telling him he can't be the primary scorer. It fundamentally misunderstands what makes Clark special and wastes the very talent that brought all this attention to the franchise. The recent Phoenix Mercury game was embarrassing. They got blown out by 35 points, and it was straight up deliverance. When your team shows up lifeless against a team with players who used to be on your squad, that's on the coach. Diana Taurasi and Sophie Cunningham came back to Phoenix, and the Fever looked like they didn't even want to be there. That's preparation and motivation, both coaching responsibilities. Here's what really gets me. White's offense feels like a tax return, complicated, full of unnecessary steps, and always ending with someone frustrated. The sets are rigid. The ball movement is cautious. It's the basketball equivalent of driving 35 in the fast lane with your hazard lights on. Sure, you might avoid an accident, but you're making sure nobody's having any fun. This isn't about Clark having rookie growing pains. This is about stifling the one thing that made her special in the first place, her unpredictability. You want the defense to fear she might pull up from the logo, thread an impossible pass, or completely change the rhythm of a game. You don't get that by playing within a system that treats innovation like it's a technical foul.
Still lost though. But at the end of the day, he fought, and you could tell that he missed being away from the game. So I can see my precious CC coming back doing her thing for the playoffs. I just want her to be 100% healthy at the end of the day. If Stephanie White gonna keep jeopardizing.
The message this sends to the rest of the roster is toxic too. If your star rookie can be benched for a minor slip, what does that tell everyone else? Play safe, avoid risk, don't try anything new. It's basketball with the excitement surgically removed. And when you remove excitement from basketball, you lose fans, you lose energy, you lose everything that makes the game worth watching. There's a shortage of basketball IQ in this league, and it's not with the players, it's with the systems. The best minds in the game isn't always on the sidelines at the pro level. Some of them still in the NCAA running circles around pro coaches with less talent but more creativity. That's the real problem here.
Today, Stephanie White has a clear conundrum on her hands, and she needs to figure out a solution to this problem before it's too little, too late. When Caitlin Clark was out with injury, Natasha Howard played well. Natasha Howard played well enough that kept us afloat along with Ari McDonald, along with Kelsey Mitchell, but Natasha Howard wasn't nearly as much of a hinder to the offense with Caitlin Clark.
And let's talk about the team chemistry issues this creates. When you got players like Natasha Howard coming in talking about wanting to win MVP while Clark's already on the roster, that's a red flag. You got players who don't understand their role because the coaching staff isn't establishing clear roles. That's organizational dysfunction at its finest. Clark mentioned how at Iowa, everyone knew exactly what they were supposed to do. Bluder made sure people understood their roles and responsibilities. But in Indiana, you got confusion everywhere. Players don't know where to cut, don't know where to move, don't know what their job is on any given possession.
Indiana Fever fans, so let's keep it real, let's keep it 100 like I'm being frank, you hear me? So let me ask y'all again, is Stephanie White a good coach, a great coach? I'm waiting. No, she not even close. If anything, she puts a star in the offense. She's sucking the life out of the team, out of the franchise. And Kelly Krostoff, whatever her name is, Lynn Dunn, you hear me? They all need to go.
The post-game situations tell the whole story, too. After that Liberty loss, Clark was visibly frustrated, not smiling, walking off without looking at cameras. You could see it all over her face. She had it in her mind that something isn't right. When your franchise player looking like that after games, that's a coaching problem, not a player problem. And don't even get me started on how they handle her minutes and rotations. You got Clark on an all-time heater in the fourth quarter, making plays that only she can make. And then you yank her for 2 turnovers while keeping other players in who've been turning the ball over all game long. That's backwards coaching logic that makes no sense. The comparison to Michael Jordan's situation is perfect. When Jordan got hurt his second year and came back for playoffs, he dropped 63 points in 1 game. He still lost, but he fought, and you could tell he missed being away from the game. That's the kind of competitive fire Clark has, but instead of nurturing it, White's system is trying to contain it. You want to grow the WNBA? You don't muzzle the most electric player to come in since ever. You give her the same freedom she had under Bluder, because that's when she's dangerous. That's when she's the player everyone came to see. That's when she transforms from just another good player into a generational talent that changes the entire sport.
Stephanie White, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White remains fully confident in her team following Thursday's deflating loss. The veteran coach sent a clear message. It was a 35-point ass drubbing. It was Deliverance and Ned Beatty. Anybody seen that? Squeal like a pig? Yeah. The Phoenix Mercury bleeped the shit out of the Indiana Fever lab.
The fix is simple. Bring in coaches who coach to their players, not to their playbook. Let Clark run, let her experiment, and yes, let her make mistakes. The WNBA don't need more safe possessions. It needs more jaw-dropping ones. It needs moments that make people stop scrolling and start watching.
In the post-game press conference, Caitlin Clark Stephanie White made sure to give out about Caitlin Clark not passing the ball to Dantas. Like, we've seen Damiris Dantas play. She can't shoot. Why would Caitlin Clark pass the ball on an all-time heater to Dantas?
This just this last game this year. I started the fourth quarter off with like 3 turnovers in a row or 2 turnovers in a row, and Steph yanked me, and she was like this is like a learning moment. Like, you got to be able to, like, yes, like maybe it could have been there, like maybe you could have thrown a little bit better of a pass, maybe they could have caught it, but like, do we need that in this moment?
Right now, the league's most capable creator spending too much time watching from the sidelines when she should be creating moments that get replayed for years. The Indiana Fever better wake up and recognize what they got before it's too late, because talent like this doesn't come around often, and when you waste it, you don't get second chances. This situation is heading toward disaster, and everybody can see it coming except the people who need to fix it. The writing's on the wall, and it's not looking good for Indianapolis.